this morning. They said that war gives into peace. Government help, war famine's over. The heads of state have come to agree. The good day. Today was a very 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 good day. Traffic lights all green, I'm driving. The songs of love on the radio. Games in the park, no time to argue. Double Dutch and tic-tac-toe. Today was a very good day. 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 I heard the sound of children playing. I saw the laughter in their eyes. The scent of summer flowers filled the air. You feel the love that is all around. Today was a very good day. 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 Ooh. Ooh.
Welcome, and thank you for attending the live premiere of Music is Life. We are so excited to share our new film, produced by our team of researchers, filmmakers, musicians, and a community living with dementia, the Dotsa Bitove Wellness Academy. Music is Life is a research documentary that explores experiences of relational caring through musical engagement in a community living with dementia. We are so grateful to the Alzheimer's Society of Canada Research Program for funding our research and the dissemination through film. We wanted to understand how musical engagement can support connections, enhance relationships, and enrich life beyond the predominant use of music as an intervention. This film follows people living with dementia as they write and compose a song about the meaning of music in life. The film challenges stigma and shows how people with dementia can engage, connect, and live a vibrant, creative life in a community with others, where everyone thrives. With laughter, tears, joy, dancing, and singing, this film captures how music is the essence of our humanity, the soundtrack of life. The film is 50 minutes long. Please stay with us right here on YouTube, and we will hold a 20-minute Q&A where you can ask questions of the researchers and filmmakers in the chat. Also, we'd love to hear from you. Please consider participating in our survey about the impact of the film. You will see a link to the survey on our YouTube channel. Now, please enjoy the film.
So there's two things I want to record today. There's a bit where it says in the chorus, sing together in sweet harmony. So I'm going to see if we can do two-part harmony there. So the first one is going to be, instead of that melody, sing together in sweet harmony, it's going to be Sing together in sweet harmony. So let me play you that bit on its own for a second. Yeah. Melody, that's when all our voices sing together in sweet harmony. So everyone's singing, sing together in sweet harmony. They're going up there. I want you to go, sing together in sweet harmony. Okay? Yeah? So I'm going to record that. Okay, here we go. That's when all our voices sing together in sweet harmony. Very good.
A diagnosis of dementia can be difficult and life-changing, and the challenges of memory loss can be very frustrating. But a loving and supportive community can go a long way to helping us all live our best lives. In Toronto, Canada, an Academy for Arts and Intergenerational Learning is on the cutting edge of a new philosophy of relational caring that prioritizes compassionate, mutual relationships for nurturing a sense of belonging and purpose. Here at the Academy, everyone is considered a teacher and a learner. Rigid schedules and tests are thrown out the window to make room for discovery and life. And professionals in the fields of visual arts, music, and dance use the arts as a medium for creating deep connections and supporting engagement and life enrichment. And in the time they've been creating community here, the team behind this one-of-a-kind academy have discovered that not only is music a wonderful way to enrich one's life, for many of the people here, Academy members and artists alike, music is life.
1, 2, 3, 4. Right, good. Okay, so let me just set it up to record. That's going to sound wicked. 2, 3, 4.
Today, Grammy Award-winning musician and songwriter Simon Law is recording his latest song. His musicians and co-writers are the members of the Dotsa Bitove Wellness Academy.
The Dotsa Bitove is a place that uses art as a medium to develop authentic relationships. What that means in practice is that we are all interested in being able to find points of connection through creative mediums.
The Dotsa Bitove Wellness Academy is unique because of our philosophy and our structure, and that we are an academy of teaching and learning, and we're focused on relationships and engagement and life enrichment.
We believe that a person is a person, not a person is a patient. A person that you respect, a person that you can share laugh and tears and joys and sadness and emotion. That is the belief and the philosophy that we have.
I could dance to that. Could you groove to that? That feels good to me. Hey?
Although their unique relational caring philosophy encompasses all the arts, music is everywhere at the Academy, from music-filled mornings to ukulele groups and sing-alongs, to special performances, to the almost daily dance parties.
Music plays a role in everything we do here. From the moment that people come in, we call it playing the DJ, where we put music on as soon as people get here to feel out like to create a mood or an environment for people to come and enjoy like conversations with coffee and crossword puzzles. And then it trickles into the ballroom, as we call it, because there's always dancing, always singing along, and dance. Yeah, dance is a big part of our community.
And if it's dancing you want, then Academy member Robert is the man you need to see.
Music, to me, is like when you're eating a nice piece of cake or something. It just comes to me and I just love it. Once the music starts and you get up and you start to move, and it just moves you. And you might not get all the words, but you will move it. And the thing there with music for me is to understand what's going on, enjoy it. and don't go and spoil up the party.
How music moves him, it's very physical. It's this beautiful kind of how it speaks to the feet, you know. And he is a guy who totally embodies that.
Robert is my dance partner, and I absolutely adore dancing with him because he's one of the participants that actually expresses the rhythm of the music in his soul.
To me, music is the greatest equalizer. If you put people together, whatever language they speak or don't speak, and you play the right music, we all get together, we dance, we pat each other on the back. You know, when we exhort ourselves, really get excited about music. And music is really fit to be loved by everybody. People who don't love music or haven't had the opportunity of getting there have missed a lot, because music lightens the load.
He's really curious about people, and he really takes the time to know people.
And I know the folks. I don't know all names. Not good at remembering names, but I know all the faces, and I can say, hi, how are you doing today? I'm one of those fellas, if I came and sat by your chair and a few minutes pass and nothing happens, then I try to open up a conversation, or at least to show somebody that I know you're there and I know I am here.
And Robert's not alone in this thinking. Music at the Academy is the glue that holds everything together.
I think what our work here at the Academy does through the arts, and specifically music, is transformative. We have seen people come in shy, hesitant, and come and regain their sense of self. And certainly, as rewarding as I've seen it be for participants, it's equally rewarding for the people that work here. What we give, we get. It's definitely a two-way flow of, I would say, magic. There's no question there's therapeutic value to it. It's not a formal therapy program here. It's relational caring. So we are people relating to people, using the arts to build a bridge and create relationships that are meaningful, respectful, dignified, loving.
I don't know where I'd be without music, really. As I've got older, I feel tremendously grateful to be able to make music. I love performing, I love singing and whatever, but the actual creation of music is just this incredible joy to me, and it gets better as I get older. So you know, maybe less people listening now, but doesn't matter. I just love creating music, and the opportunity here at Bitove to create music is amazing. I just love that, and I'm so glad that I'm able to actually create original music here. That's really special. That's the waveform of what you played, and us. That's you. That's you playing the drums and percussion there. So let me just play it to you.
Simon has been creating and recording a song with the members of the Academy.
See the line going across?
Simon does many different things here, as you can see. And one of the most important things that I think that he does for us is he helps us compose songs.
Come on, you can move to that.
I invited him to create a song for our music research on musical engagement and the meaning of music in our lives.
You know, as soon as I heard that, I thought, wow, that's so fertile, such fertile ground, because, you know, I see all the time how important this is to folks here. But we're going to write a song about this. You know, we're going to write a song about music itself. First and foremost, I had these lovely sort of brainstormy sessions where I just asked everyone what does music really mean to you? How do you relate to it? How does it speak to you? And all these wonderful things came up, and I just made several big charts of all these lovely phrases, you know. And the ones that really sort of covered everything made it into the song. And I'm so proud of how it really is a beautiful piece of collaborative art, you know.
While music in many other spaces is used as a tool or clinical intervention, at the Dotsa Bitove Wellness Academy, music is so much more.
Our intention here is to create a space where relationships are in the fore, where they're most important. And so music we're seeing is an incredible medium for creating a space for those relationships.
When we use music in a non-clinical setting, or we use music to create relationship, it speaks to our inherent connection to music as human beings. Our pulse is our internal metronome. Our breathing is rhythmic. The way our voice sounds is melodic. This makes music in many different contexts the perfect ingredient to create relationship-based learning, wellness, engagement. It's a really lovely way to bring people together in a shared space. And it doesn't necessarily have to have a clinical goal. When you're in a more diverse and community-oriented setting where there is mutual learning taking place, music brings people together in a whole different way that's a little more broad and a little more far-reaching. If this was a music therapy setting, there might be a goal such as anxiety reduction or pain management. But when you're in a group setting and people are listening to music together and sharing and laughing and engaging, it speaks to the power of music to address our humanness and bring us together.
Academy member Sharu knows the power of music.
Music is my whole world. Oh my God. Music is something that you get joy out of it, makes you happy, and takes the sad part away.
She feels music deeply, I know that. And if I catch her eye or she catches my eye, we always exchange a little smile.
She's such a joyful person. She just loves being here. She loves sharing her life experiences with everyone. She loves the music, and she's just a joy to be with.
I would say to the people and to the world, music is something that inspires you, and you're doing it from your inner soul. I sing songs in my kitchen when I'm cooking. I will just sing it to you quickly. Ek tirata vedana pira shamashgasi navana pira navana.
Music makes me feel good. Yeah. Okay.
It's another morning of coffee and crosswords at the Academy, and the conversation has turned to the importance of music.
Joy, happiness. Yeah. That's when I get happy.
And here, everyone's encouraged to get up and dance.
Yes.
And most people do.
I just like being rhythmical.
Yeah. Well, since I started here, my kids actually believe that I dance better.
Really?
Yeah. And I
I love that.
And you people have been my critiques by saying, "Oh, you're such a good dancer, Dad." And I said, "I don't think anything's changed for me."
Music is a way of bringing back memories for me. Yes. That's true. Some I don't want to remember. Yes. But they come anyway. They come anyway. Everything comes with conditions. They creep up on you again. Oh, boy.
Music is a way of telling me it's time to take a nap.
Good idea. I don't know when I go home, I go to lie down.
Where's my pillow?
Where's my pillow?
Robert, if you had to fill in the blank, music is...
Soul connection. I was born in Grenada and grew and developed and lived in Grenada. I had a good part of my livelihood in Jamaica, where I met Hazel, my wife. And I've been living here in Canada for, I would say over 10 years. And how many?
51.
What? Sorry, 51 years. Time flies when you're having fun.
Retired physician and surgeon Robert lives with his wife of nearly 55 years, Hazel.
Actually, we met on a university trip to Cuba, and this was in 1960.
I got to know her because by some accident, her flip-flop was mashed and she tripped. And I don't know, this guy was there. She turned around and it happened to be me. Mm-hmm. And I've been getting flip-flops from then, and I love them. Mm-hmm. I really like to whistle, I like to hum, and I like to sing. That comes from my mother. She was always humming and whistling and doing a little ditty in the kitchen, and that sort of grew on me. We still keep my music going with whatever I call singing. I do it here at Hazel at the keyboard, and for that I'm very grateful. I want to do it for years and years and years still. Study or recreation in classroom or playing field.
He sings in the church choir, so every afternoon I usually have to work with him on the anthem that's coming up for that Sunday so that he can know it really well.
Feet of fathers and brothers are beacons marking the way. And I like it when I can sing. When I know the pieces and my throat's comfortable, I really enjoy that.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the church organist, Rachel, said recently, you know, Robert has a nice voice, but he only sings out when he knows the thing well. So, in other words, if he doesn't know it well, he keeps really soft. So.
Merit, the slacker is folly's
Oh, my son, he's a darling, I'm telling you. He's here, I know.
Sharu lives with and is cared for by her son, Kareem.
She was always very caring. If you can tell from my size, food was a big part of life. She loved to bake, and so we used to eat a lot of goodies. And I was somewhat overprotective of her sometimes, and probably still am to some degree.
He was a sweet little baby. And he grew up with love and affection from his dad when his dad was alive at that time. I married his father, but unfortunately, he died at a very young age. And that makes me a little sad also, because he was the love of my life. And the children, I overcome that when I had my kids and everyone. You know.
I was 15. He passed away the day after my birthday.
It was not an easy task whatsoever, but I made it work.
For my mom, she went from being essentially, like I said, a housewife, although she did have a job, to becoming the sole breadwinner. And for me, from a cultural context, I took on the role of the man of the house, but far too young to do that. But it stayed with me for a long time. So significant impact. I was close to my dad. I used to skip a lot of school to be with him and hang out with him. So that was tough. Yeah, it's tough. It took me a long time to get over that.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Quite honestly, it's probably one of the toughest things I've had to do, and one of the toughest things for me to learn to come to grips with. And so I've gone from sort of son and loving son kind of thing to being a provider and a caregiver. And I lose sight of the fact that I also need to be a son. The times when she's at the Bitove is when I feel the most comfort and relaxed because I know that she's probably having a good time. She feels part of the people there. They don't make you feel any different than anyone else. They treat you very friendly. It's a very loving environment, and I'm so glad and so thankful that we found this program, to be honest.
With the recording nearly complete, Simon is back in the studio mixing the song.
Yeah, so when we were starting to think about the song, we had this idea of the meaning of music and what is the meaning of music in our lives. And a lot of people were saying, you know, music lifts me up. The music, it takes me higher. It makes me feel better. And so that was the kind of lead-off idea, that music takes you higher. And so I had some chords that I was messing around with at home that sounded something probably like this. Kind of things that are the kind of chords that I mess around with at home, and then I sort of thought about this. Music takes you higher. Music opens up your mind. That was another thing, how it sort of opened up your experience, opened up your mind. So that was the first two lines. So I went home, I remember, and I just started thinking about a melody, something like this. Music takes you higher. Music opens up your mind. And I remember the next time I went in, someone said, I think it doesn't just open up your music doesn't just open your mind, it's your heart. It's to do with your heart as well. It speaks to our hearts. So I changed that line, and it ended up being something like, music takes you higher. Music opens your heart and mind. It was a long creative process. I didn't sort of hurry this in any way. I started bringing in my computer and my recording equipment, and we recorded all the singing is everyone for the Bitove singing together. There is percussion in there. Some folks have learnt to play ukulele. I've got ukuleles in there. It's like everyone bring their talents, you know. It was a sort of real kitchen sink approach. What have we got? Right, and then my mind just goes crazy with figuring out how we use all these elements. And I love that process, you know, really do. Someone said the other day, you know, they really own the song. It's owned by everyone, you know. And so, yeah, this sort of writing a song with a big group is not something I do in my normal work. It's usually one or two people. But it's a thrill to do. I really love it.
But even before his time at the Academy, Simon had first-hand experience of the power of music for people living with memory loss.
I have a personal journey with Alzheimer's because my father was diagnosed with it at the age of 67, I think it was, so quite early. So that whole period that lasted through till he died earlier this year at age of 83, it was a very long journey, you know, and so I was always interested in dementia, but also I knew how music spoke to my dad.
Recently, the Academy has expanded to double their size. This newfound space allows an opportunity for more members and larger activities. Today they are celebrating the opening with a special performance by a world-renowned cellist from the Glenn Gould School of Music.
Using music to make a connection with people or to move people in some sense is basically the goal. And that's what I love to do more than anything, actually.
And we have our performer here, Richard, who is going to be performing with his beautiful cello. So we welcome both of them greatly to our day of performance at the Bitove Academy. And this is our first performance since we've opened our brand new space. So it's a celebration as well.
If you meet young musicians, the main thing that they want is exactly what this is, a room full of listeners. So this is our perfect environment.
At any time, when I was with my dad, if I put on particularly Bach's music, spoke to him profoundly.
The arts, and again specifically music, is a language unto itself. It is timeless, really, and it feels like music, where it lives in our minds, is different than some of the other functions and everyday activities that we do, and it lives there forever, and it defines who we are. It's connected to our heart and soul. It feels like that's what I've witnessed.
I remember one time having a nap with him, lying down in the afternoon, and we often would have music on all the time, actually, just classic FM or whatever it was. This is in England, but a beautiful piece of Bach's piano music came on. I don't know which one particularly, and Dad was listening to it, and he just sighed, one of his sighs of just delight, you know. And then he said to me, "It sounds just like a stream, just like water." And Bach's music kind of tumbles over itself and goes on and on and on. Doesn't really, you're never quite sure when it's going to finish, you know, because you think it's coming to an end, and then off it goes again, and it's like a little brook, you know, babbling away. And it was a very beautiful moment of how it really spoke to him, you know, and I remember that very clearly, that little moment.
The experience of engaging in music can be nonverbal. If people can listen to music together and not feel that they have to retrieve any kind of information through language, that can be an inviting and inclusive way of connecting with another human being. But further to that, if someone can access a memory through music, that can be a very rewarding experience and a very comforting experience, not only for the person themselves, but for the people around them.
Dr. Al Power is an internationally recognized expert on transformational models of care for older adults living with changing cognitive abilities.
One of the biggest barriers to well-being for people living with dementia is the sense of stigma that is created around the illness. Stigma is huge. I don't think you can overestimate it in the world of dementia. And a lot of it comes from the way we have medicalized the condition. Not that it's not a medical condition, but we focus so intently on disease, on what is missing, that we only see the person from that very narrow lens of disease, disability, decline. And so it makes us do a lot of things that are very limiting to the person. We underestimate their capabilities. We shut them out or take decisions away from them early on. We tend to shun people because it makes us uncomfortable, or we assume that they can't engage in certain things. We tend to blame their distress on the brain disease instead of looking at the larger context to see if it could be something that would bother any of us in the same situation. And we tend to rush to medications when there are many other non-medical solutions that can help people to live better.
I feel like there's sort of key people in this place that are that embody the sort of energy and the vibe, and Alan's certainly one of those guys. Yeah.
Music is a message sent to the brain to enjoy happiness. Well, I like to paint. I like to do some artwork. I like music. I like to listen to music. I play a harmonica, and I try to play a guitar. I haven't played it thoroughly, but I'm working on it.
Alan? Oh, Alan. He's so lovely.
What shall we call him? We'll call him the surprising chef.
Cook the schnook.
Cook or cook the schnook.
Alan is a big teddy bear, but a stand-up comedy teddy bear.
He is so funny. He is also so sweet.
I go to the Bitove Center and I enjoy the arts program there because I'm an artsy person. So I enjoy that period of time during the day. And I go 4 days a week, so it keeps me busy and it keeps my wife out of trouble.
Alan lives with his wife, Myrna.
I met Al first when he was 20 and I was 15, and his first love was my girlfriend. So we used to he would be at the same parties as me, and when they broke up, I had to hear his tearful story. And then we met again when we both worked at Yorkdale. I was in high school at the time. And then I didn't see him forever. I went to a singles barbecue, which I've never in my life done because I wanted to introduce a friend of mine who was a widow to another friend who was a widow. And there was a crowd of people around something, and the something was Al. And when he saw me, he came over, he was all excited, and we left and went dancing. And that's how we met again.
Amen.
This is the day that Al and I got married, and it was 30 years ago. And it's always so nice to look back because we were so young and vital and active at that time. Both of us. It was lovely. You have to respect each other's space. I think that's the most important thing. You have to have a sense of humor, and you have to stop trying to make somebody what they're not. You accept them for who they are, and that's the secret of a good marriage.
And we use good glue.
I think when you live with different forms of dementia, when you live with memory loss, there are still some very important reasons why music is so engaging and so powerful. So the great thing about music with dementia is that there are many broken connections with dementia, but there are just millions and billions of connections in there that are not damaged. But if you engage with music, all of a sudden those connections are still very powerful, and they open doors to memories, to speech, to engagement in ways that you are unable to do with more traditional interactions.
While his memory may not be what it used to be, Alan's years of working as a designer have translated to a home filled with his beautiful paintings.
I was trained as a draftsman. I worked in an engineering office in the industrial field and became a designer. I would design things right at that time, like control panels and instruments that worked on the equipment.
I make a point of taking Al out as much as possible because being with other people is very, very helpful for him, and changing the view is very important. We go to so many concerts. I like classical. I love classical. I can't say Al loves classical, but he will go with me.
I don't like it. I just listen to it.
And we both love Latin music, and it's just very much a part of our lives, the arts.
I like pop music, but I like jazz, Dixieland jazz. Basically, that's basically what I like.
He learned the guitar on his own, and like many things he does, he learned it and he put it away, and it was in the storage. And then he started the Bitove, and the first day, literally, he came home and said, "Where's my guitar?" I said, "It's in the storage. I want to get it down. I want to get it restrung," and it's been in the apartment ever since, and he plucks at it. And I think it's amazing. I love it. But he's just so much a part of it. It's who he is, the music, the dancing, the art, it's him. He's an artsy, and he's happy there. He really is happy.
Didn't play anything special, just was strumming right.
A new addition to Sharu's home has her beaming.
I've been happy with having the children and my daughter-in-law, and we're having a wonderful time. And the little one here, he is so amazing. And Nikhil also.
And Nikhil's a little shy.
Yeah, he's a bit shy. Look, he's wide awake.
So this is Zachary, and this is Nikhil.
Zachary?
And this is my wife, Shafreen. She's got my back. She actually does. She always does. It's an amazing experience to be able to be blessed with being able to have a family. And I was worried she might never get a chance to see them.
And I always remind Kareem how lucky he is that his mom lives with us, right? That it's nice to have your parent live with you.
The idea of engaging with a person living with memory loss as just another person, as an equal, is not as common as one might think. The Dotsa Bitove Wellness Academy is at the leading edge of culture change within dementia care that focuses more on relationships than diagnoses.
The Academy is unique in that our focus is about relationships and engagement. I find other places the focus is more about someone's cognitive ability. How do we fix that? How do we make them better? Versus accepting a person for who and how they are, and that let's just be in relationship with that.
We see the person for who they are and in the moment that they come into our space. And because we do that with one another as well as the Academy members, their family members, the transportation drivers that come in, they have a really hard job. So it really truly is creating a community that is a family. It becomes a second home.
Back home, Rhodes Scholar Robert is in a reflective mood.
Oh, I could get a little extra sleep in the mornings and so forth. But I miss my patients. I had a good time being a practicing physician. It was really, really a calling, and I enjoyed it. And sometimes I wish I could do it again. But that's rather silly. We can pass that stage.
The fact that Robert can no longer work, provide for his family, have really taken a toll on him emotionally.
My difficulty is some difficulty, is not a total difficulty. The only thing that really, really, really bothers me and gets to me is that I can't drive anymore. And I've missed my friends, my patients. That's a big hole in my life. Not being able to drive puts a lot of stress on Hazel. My health, all people who don't know my condition would think I'm a great normal guy because I try to live normally. But there are the two things that really I'm unhappy about. My brain seems to, for me, to be normal, but the medical people have made a diagnosis. The treatment is quite easy for me at this point. And I'm doing the best. We go to sing, we dance, we love each other, hug each other, eat. I still do the cooking there, Hazel. Yeah. I do the cooking, and my children don't react strange. Nobody will react strange to me. All I want is my life to be like it is now. And if I could just if I could only drive again, you know? If I could only, but that's done, I think, unfortunately. So I have to settle down. And Hazel reminds me, settle down, tells me the good things that I have still.
After months of writing and recording, the song is finally finished. And Simon is here to play it for the Academy members for the very first time.
I was just in England for a couple of weeks working there on a project, and so I wasn't coming here. And I find I miss the place, actually, and it's so lovely to come back and see everyone again.
This is the finished version. So I'd love you to just listen to it. If you want to just listen and maybe not sing along, that's fine. But if you want to sing along too, that would be perfect. Yeah, let's have a listen.
the rewards are to see the very heart of what music means. It's an important thing for most of us, whichever way we experience music in our lives. But, this is shows the fundamental power of music to transform a human being, And to see that day in, day out is a privilege and an honor, And to be part of creating music that does that, that's a beautiful joy of mine. I mean, I love to create music. That's the biggest thrill for me. And to create this song that we've been working on, and now it's sort of developed into this beautiful big sort of orchid, And it's just glorious, I think now I see more here. I see more how music really touches and moves people, and the profound nature of that than I've ever seen anywhere else. And I've seen thousands of people dancing to a song that I've written or whatever, and that's an amazing feeling. Don't get me wrong, I love all that, but it's sort of this sort of thing where you just you see how it touches people,
What we're saying too is, if music is life, what are we doing to support life then? Everywhere, So we want to, with this research, we want to provoke others to consider that. Yes, we've come to a new understanding, and one of the exciting things that we're seeing with this structure and philosophy, music emerges as life. And so if music is life, then how can we support it everywhere, as opposed to only being used as a tool or as therapy?
Music is the only way we repeat emotion.
That's a beautiful mini saying that.
Music lifts up my spirit.
Here we go.
Music affects my mood.
Here we go, folks.
Joy.
Here we go.
I think if anyone kind of visited this place, you'd see that music is fundamental to the way the Bitove works and what we do here. Even if it's not a particularly music-based program that's being offered, there'll be music involved in some way. And I just think it's a wonderful art form for bringing people together. I don't know if there's any better, really. It just sort of it brings people together, and it just, whether you're singing together, whether you're just simply listening together, whether you're creating it together, whether you're playing some music together, you're dancing together, it's this sort of binding, beautiful thing that brings you in, you know.
Give yourselves a big clap. Very, very cool. Very cool indeed.
Oh, it was a beautiful moment. A lot of great sort of memories and experiences putting the thing together, and to share it now with everybody. And you know, it's especially poignant because there's a few folks who are no longer with us that have sung on the tune and even have spoken in the middle section. So I'm very proud of it, and I think it's really speaks volumes about our work here, you know, and the community that we have here. When I share it with the folks, I can see how much they are part of it, how much they feel ownership of it, and that's a really lovely thing to be part of.
I am not afraid of being old now. I love being with these people. I love being with people who are, you know, having this experience, and I want to walk with them. That's just what I want to do until the end of life.
I think it's taught me immensely about being able to live in the present moment. I think that's something which, you know, dementia can teach us all, actually. You know, it's a really profound thing that if you spend time with someone with dementia, that's the only place you can really be. And it's a good place to be, you know.
And when you hear the music, how do you want to move?
Sexy.
When we're all together here in this room and we're singing and we're dancing, what's that like for you?
For me, I feel I'm in heaven. And I feel happy. It takes the sadness away. Truly speaking.
So Alan, if there were no music in the world, what would that be like for you?
I'd hum.
Maybe when the birds sing, the birds make nice music. You hear that? This is all around. Music is all around, and somehow or another, some people find a way to make music. You know?
Well, if you don't know how to sing and all that, you're losing out, baby. You're losing out.
Hello, everyone. We hope you enjoyed the world premiere of Music is Life, and we want to thank you for joining us for a live Q&A. My name is Romeo Kalabong. I'm part of the creative team of the film, and I will be moderating the Q&A. I'm joined by the researchers and executive producers of the film, Drs. Christine Jonas-Simpson, Pia Kontos, and Sherry Dupuis, the director of the film, Anthony Grani, and the music director, Simon Law. And as you may have noticed, we are all wearing blue. Today is World Alzheimer's Day, and we are wearing blue to share our support for people, families, and communities living with dementia. We will do our best to answer all of your questions, which you can submit to us by entering them in the chat. Please note that we are recording this Q&A, so your questions may be part of a video to be posted later on our YouTube channel, and this Q&A will not be used for research purposes. So while we wait for questions to come in, I'd like to hear from the team what made them decide to create the film.
I'll start. Thank you, Romeo. First of all, I would like to acknowledge two other research team members, Dr. Gail Mitchell, who was the inaugural director of the Bitove Academy, as well as research associate Leslie Donovan. And along with our gratitude for the research grant from the Alzheimer's Society of Canada research program, we could not have conducted this research or created this film without the Bitove Academy. So we are so grateful for the generosity and vision of the Bitove family, for the organizational leadership of UHN and the academic leadership of York University. But most importantly, we were so grateful to the Bitove Academy team who so beautifully embody the relational caring philosophy through music and the many arts. And we're also grateful to the whole Bitove Academy community, the Academy members, their families, friends, the volunteers, students, and as Velta said, the drivers. Everyone makes up this beautiful community, and we're so grateful to them, and especially Sharu, Alan, Robert, and Simon for sharing their lives so openly with us in the film. And as I mentioned in the welcome message, our research is about exploring experiences of relational caring through musical engagement and the meaning of music in our lives. And one of the objectives of our research was to also create a documentary to capture these experiences and the transformational impact of these experiences. Because as I mentioned in the film, most oftentimes music is used as an intervention or as therapy with persons living with dementia. And we wanted to show another approach beyond this. And in our film, Sarah Rose, the music therapist, spoke so beautifully about the difference, and she articulated this beautifully, where music therapy often has a goal to, whether it's reduce anxiety or agitation or pain. And these are really important and really require the skills and knowledge of a music therapist. While for the rest of us, we can all engage with music in a way that creatively expresses our humanity and connects us with one another and enhances our relationships and really enriches the lives of our whole community. So we're hoping that through this film, this approach to musical engagement will inspire others as well.
Yes, thanks, Christine. I can certainly add to that. I mean, that is certainly an important aspect of our research that we wanted to convey with the film. We also created the film as part of our commitment to challenging stigma associated with dementia. In our research at the Bitove Wellness Academy, we saw so many different examples of imaginative, humorous, playful, and moving expressions through musical engagement, and the power of being part of a community that supports living well with dementia. And yet imagination, humor, playfulness, and deep engagement with community are not characteristics that are typically ascribed to people living with dementia. And this is because of stigma, because of the assumption that with dementia, you lose the ability to pursue meaningful relationships and activities, and that dementia is only loss and tragedy. So given how our work challenges this stigma and really exemplifies inclusive and meaningful engagement, we felt that it was imperative that we convey the work in a way that would make it accessible and engaging for audiences and inspiring. So, I mean, our focus is musical engagement and the many ways that it supports relationships. So we felt that seeing and hearing and feeling the music would be so critical to conveying this work, and documentary film allowed us to do just that.
Thank you for the question, Romeo. I think for me, over the past few decades, there have been just so many urgent calls around the world for the need for culture change in dementia care, to really reimagine how we support people living with dementia and their families in flourishing with dementia. These calls have emphasized the need for relational approaches that recognize how essential relationships are to the well-being of all human beings, to our communities, to our broader society and our environment. And thus they place compassionate relationships at the center of care and support. You know, this pandemic and certainly the Black Lives Matter movement have made these calls even more urgent by showing us how truly important connectedness is in our lives and the great harms that can result when relationships are not prioritized and difference is not valued. So Music is Life, both the research and the film, was important for me to do because it helps us to reimagine what the world could look like and support could look like for people with dementia when we ground our approach in relationships, when grounded in a philosophy that believes in the relational capacity of all human beings, no matter what illness or disability they might be experiencing. Recently, I had the great opportunity to watch a celebration in honor of the great Stephen Sondheim's 90th birthday. The host of the celebration, Raul Esparza, said something that really captured the essence of this film for me, and I think Robert said it in the film as well. Raul said, "The arts help us be fully ourselves." And I would add that the arts help us be fully ourselves together. I'm hoping that Music is Life contributes to the culture change movement we so need in dementia care by showing the possibilities of relating differently, supporting the essence of who we all are through the arts.
That's great. Thank you, Christine, Pia, and Sherry for that. We've got a question from our virtual audience. Are there other centers like the Bitove in Ontario?
I'm not, hi, sorry, I was muted. We don't know of any other center that is an academy of teaching and learning for persons living with dementia, where we bring in practicing artists from the community to teach their craft. We really don't know of any other place that, and also that has the relational caring philosophy that underpins the medium of the arts as well.
Great. Obviously music is such a huge part of the film, and Simon, as music director, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what music inspires you and maybe some of your musical heroes.
Oh, that's a very serendipitous question, because tonight is the 21st night of September, and for me, he's my mentor for sure. And I did actually work with him in the early 90s, Maurice White of Earth, Wind and Fire. And I think I've indoctrinated everybody at the Bitove into Earth, Wind and Fire's music. but something spoke to me so much about their music from an early age. And, you know, and their famous song, September, the first lines are, "Do you remember the 21st night of September?" And here we are with this film tonight. So, you know, that's very deeply inspiring to me. But Maurice had this incredible wish that his music that he made with his band was medicine music. he really sought to do that. That was his vision. It wasn't sort of an accident or something nice that happened. It was actually by design, and felt that that's what he wanted to do. And so I've taken a huge amount of inspiration from his life and his work, for sure. And I hope the bit in the song where everyone's singing "Body Up, Bopweo" is an absolute nod to Maurice and Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, Simon. So we've got another question from our virtual audience. Can you imagine a relational care model being more broadly used in healthcare? If so, where and how?
We would love it everywhere. I know certainly at UHN and under the direction of Dr. Joy Richards, who really embraces and supports this model, is something that I think that would be wonderful everywhere, because it's one thing that we found in our research at the Academy too, which is a little different than what we hear in other research around relational care, is the piece around the caring. So there's reciprocity in the relational piece, right? And as Sherry always talks about, it's relational beyond human beings as well. So there's the relationship we have with music, there's a relationship we have with the universe, with nature, whatever it might be. But the caring piece we added from care in one of our studies, because we noticed at the Academy that the caring is also reciprocal. Our Academy members and family members also care for the team and the whole community at the Academy. I think it would be a beautiful theory and certainly there's from people that have done work in this area, Doan and Barco, nurse therapists as well. Yes, I think it would be actually applicable to any setting.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I mean, this is a philosophy about fully supporting the capacity for creativity, for imagination, for being, in relationship with others. And so at its core, it's about making relationships a priority and to making the arts central to supporting those relationships and creative self-expression and life enrichment. So I don't think that should be specific to people living with dementia. I think that it's fundamental to the human condition. And so everyone could benefit from that.
We've had funding through the Alzheimer's Society of Canada, also supported by Extended Care, that helped us to create a relational caring learning series. And we've actually piloted it in a number of homes. And healthcare professionals working in those healthcare spaces want this, but there are so many barriers and constraints in some other settings that make being in relationship, and of course that's just been exacerbated now with the pandemic, but they know that they can do their jobs better when they can be authentically in relationship with other human beings.
Thanks, Christine, Pia, and Sherry. Another question for you all is, what is the Dotsa Bitove Academy doing since the pandemic started? Are they finding ways to continue some kind of programming?
Perhaps I should answer that. We're no longer open, unfortunately. The community that comes to the Bitove is vulnerable in this way. We're continuing quite a lot of online things, and as best we can to connect to everybody regularly. I know the same for all the other artists and the other folks working there. We all wish we could be starting back up again. It wouldn't be a wise thing to do right now because of the restrictions and everything and the health concern. But I think it's interesting how music can still reach. And I took part in a little an hour-long session the other day with Kristen, who is one of the people who works there, members of staff, and it was still lovely to share, albeit slightly less than if we were all in the room together. But
And I think we're discussing all kinds of ways that perhaps it could carry on in a slightly different way while we're still living in the pandemic sort of restrictions.
And people, Simon, can go to the website to find out that information, I believe.
Sure,
And
yes.
It's dotsabitove.com, or if you go to our Music is Live film website, there is a link to the Bitove Academy there as well.
Sure, yes.
And that's being updated. So.
Great, thank you. Are you planning to do more research documented via film for other elements of the Bitove program?
This is actually our third film. And if you go on to the dotsabitove.com website, you will see one of our studies was around transgenerational learning at the Bitove Academy. And then the second film that we did, which was with Sherry and Pia and myself and Gail Mitchell, and it's on experiences of relational caring, and that's called Free to Be. And both of them are on the website when you look under research-based art.
Great, thanks, Christine.
And they're very short, and they can be used for educational purposes. As we're teaching, I'm a professor, and I find students really enjoy seeing what we're talking about. And that's what we're hoping the film will do as well, is that it's actually seeing the philosophy lived in practice with this beautiful team and community. And so that speaks volumes, really.
Do you have plans on submitting this film to festivals or other platforms to share this powerful film with others?
We were, of course, sharing about this launch with many people, and just, was it today or yesterday, I received an email from somebody asking us if we'd consider submitting it to a film festival. So that's our hope. It's tricky because some film festivals don't want you to actually have launched it before you go to a film festival. So that's been a bit challenging for us because we really want it out there, and we want it helping people to reimagine how they can do dementia care and support differently. But yes, if there are film festivals out there that welcome films that have been launched, then we'll be looking into it for sure.
That's great. Anthony, as director of the film, how was working on this film different or the same as your other films?
This was a much more personal, a much more personal level film where I got to tell the story of people. A lot of my previous documentaries have been telling larger stories of history or environment or things like that, which does still involve people. But this was an amazing experience where people, Kareem and Sharu, who I saw in the chat, are watching. So hello, and Alan and Myrna and Hazel and Robert and Simon also. They let us into their homes and they let us into their lives. Usually when I interview someone, I'm interviewing them as a subject expert about science or something. But this was interviewing them about their lives and about the most personal parts of their lives. And it was amazing. And jumping back a little bit to that other question about if there's another documentary in the works. I'm just putting it out there that, I mean, I'm up for it if if anybody else is. I totally fell for all of those people. After I finished filming, I ended up going back to volunteer and be a guest artist occasionally at the Dotsa Bitove Academy. And I miss them. I miss them dearly. I'm glad some of them are, some of the folks are out watching the film.
During sorry, if I can just say, to reiterate what you're saying, Anthony, during COVID, in sharing the film with the team members and the trailer, so many people, including myself, said the same thing, how we miss being together and that incredible things that we come to know that are so important, and our relationships being so important during COVID, they seem to just be heightened and just so critically important. So again, can't wait till we can all be together again.
Thanks, Christine, and thanks, Anthony. We'll do one more question before we wrap up the Q&A. So how long did this film take to create, and what parts in particular will stay with you? Would you like to stay with you? Would you like to stay with those that watched it?
The film took 4 years, and that included the application for the grant through Alzheimer's Society Canada, and just how long it took us to. It took quite a while to create the film and the entire project. But I guess the takeaway that I'm hoping, I guess for me, what was surprising, even though I somehow know it innately, was how incredibly important music is to our humanity, and how incredibly important it is as a way to, as a medium for connecting with one another and for enhancing those relationships, and how that lingers on, and just how powerful it is. It was really, I remember one of the Academy members who was in our research, she just said, music has to be, and so I think coming to that understanding, and that each one of us can engage in this way, whether it's humming or listening to a song together and just being present with one another. So it's a way that we can connect with people. It's a beautiful way we can connect with people in a very enjoyable way, really, and very powerful way.
I knew from my own research with people living with dementia that the arts, powerfully support communication and creative self-expression and vitality. But for me, the added takeaway from this work is that it is what musical engagement actually means for people living with dementia, and how it brings them into relationship with others, and all of which has this incredible ripple effect on everyone. The staff express how impactful it is for them to work there. They see the possibilities, for having a meaningful life and relationships despite dementia, and found their ways of connecting to people living with dementia that they didn't think previously possible. So it really is a truly relational experience for everyone. And that for me is tied to another really important takeaway, which is, I think, the enormous potential that people living with dementia have for creative expression, and how that challenges, the stigma associated with dementia. I think I left this project feeling like we really need to have higher expectations of the imagination and creative spirit of people living with dementia, and to more fully support their humanity, with creativity being a fundamental dimension of that.
Yes, I would just like to add something about my takeaway. It's like the takeaway I have every time I come away from being at the Bitove is like, wow, that was incredible. The way this beautiful thing, which I think we kind of probably all know in our hearts, that how special music is, but art in general, music kind of has this other little tangly bit that spreads out to everybody, and it's often kind of, even if it's a visual art piece or it's a program going on or it's a dance thing or something else, there'll be some music on somewhere, and it has this lovely way of wrapping everybody together. And I just, my takeaway is how how sort of profound that is, and it how I'd say to any artist watching this is how beautiful it sort of nourishes your own creativity as well. So it's this beautiful loop that goes round, and that's just extraordinarily powerful to me, and it's very sort of, it talks about how we all are eventually one, and we're linked we're linked in so many ways. And so all power to anybody trying to do this in any way. It's incredibly powerful, and go for it. Any artists who want to get involved somehow, find a way, there's lots of opportunities. And I really miss everybody at the Bitove terribly very much. So see you soon.
I think my key takeaway, and we have so many powerful quotes about this in our data, is what people with dementia give us in relationship. And I remember a particular quote about how one of the artists didn't like to dance, was quite vulnerable, and a person with dementia asked her to dance. And she talks about, and I also know this artist because she works closely with me, and she's spoken about this with me a lot too, but how in that moment of dancing and being vulnerable in that moment, that person with dementia helped her to see a part of herself that she hadn't seen before, and how that changed her and gave her a confidence that she now exudes, I think. And so there's so much that we can get from being in relationship with persons with dementia, but they're often not given that opportunity. When we think of caregiver and care receiver, but we never just think of human beings in relationship with each other. And I think there's so many moments like that at the Bitove, where the people living with dementia actually give the people around them so much more than maybe the team there give the people with dementia, although they're all brilliant and warm people. But that to me is something that will stick with me always.
And for me, I haven't been touched personally. No one in my immediate family is living with dementia or any sort of memory loss. And this was my first time really sort of diving into it. And the biggest thing that came out, and it's weird because I consider myself an artist, and the biggest thing that came out is not at all based on on art or music. It's to the line that Dr. Al Power says is, too often people are defined by their disease, decline, and disability. It was, I went in with preconceptions, fairly open-minded, but I definitely had some preconceptions that were informed by the stigma that is out there. And I learned 15 minutes into my first day there that everything I thought was wrong. And it's a reminder, a writer named John Green always says, imagine people complexly. And, it sort of fits in with the relational side of everything. Just don't define people by that one thing. They are not dementia. They are living with dementia, and there's a difference. And that's what I hope people can see a little bit through music, through art, through relational care. But I hope, and mostly because I just fell in love with everybody and I miss them. But I hope that people can see that these people living with memory loss are more than what they're living with.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, thank you, everyone. That brings our Q&A session to a close. On behalf of our entire team, I want to thank you all again for watching the world premiere of Music is Life and participating in our live Q&A. If we weren't able to answer your question, or if you have additional questions, you can contact us on our website, www.musicislifefilm.ca. On our website, you can also find out more information about the film, links to resources, our social media pages, etc. We also ask that you let us know your thoughts on the film by completing an online survey. You can find the link to the survey below in the description of this live stream event, and it can also be accessed through our website on the contact page. And lastly, the full film will be made available to everyone at no cost. Please tell all of your friends and family who are not able to watch tonight's premiere that they can watch Music is Life on our YouTube channel. Thank you and good night.
Thank you for coming, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.